Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We may be soon sitting over $1 for XRP. We're going to take a look at it. And let me tell you what else. Larry Fink, the CEO from BlackRock, is asked by Fox Business News, what about an XRP ETF? You're going to want to hear his answer. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, it's $1.76 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 4.9% right now. Remember, this market doesn't belong to us anymore, ladies and gentlemen. This market belongs to Wall Street. That's where we're at today. 42,700 plus for Bitcoin, 2,500 plus for Ethereum. Tether market cap now is 95 billion plus. XRP at the number 6 spot, 57 cents, off by 4% in the 24-hour, up 1.3 on the 7-day. The range of price right now, 56 cents on the bottom, 60 cents on the top. We're keeping an eye on it. It's got quite a range. You're going to like the chart before we get out of here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you about the Future of Digital Asset fundraiser that is taking place during XRP Las Vegas. And they have just changed the individual ticket price to an early bird special. Oh my, oh my. The guest of honor on Friday night will be Brad Garlinghouse, John Deaton, Michael Arrington, and the Honorable Christian Carlo. You can be in the room and meet all of these gentlemen, break bread, have a little dinner, fireside chat, the whole bit. One-on-one experience right here. Get your ticket. I tell you, this is going to be an incredible, incredible experience here. And if you have never had a chance to meet Brad, I tell you, you will not be disappointed. This is one of the most down-to-earth, coolest guys you're ever going to meet. Super smart, as we all know, and everybody else is as well. You're going to absolutely love it. And Chris, too, I can't say enough about all these gentlemen. So definitely click the link, get that early bird ticket, because you're going to be able to be in a room with all of these gentlemen, break bread, talk. It's going to be an incredible, incredible hang. What a night that's going to be. The link is on the website for the Digital Asset Fundraiser, and get your ticket to XRP Las Vegas. Here we have right here, it is the numbers that are in for the ETF inflows. Bitwise, 237 million. Fidelity, 227 million. BlackRock, 111 million. ARK, 65 million. Yeah, that's the kind of day it was. Yeah. And then there's this. We all know the breaking news. Vanguard comes out and says they're to remove Bitcoin futures ETF, along with not even thinking about offering the spot ETF from its platform immediately. This from Axios. Eleanor Terrett says, wowza, Vanguard doubling down on that anti-crypto business strategy. In addition to spot Bitcoin ETFs not being available for purchase on the Vanguard platform, listen to this. Effective immediately, Vanguard will no longer accept the purchase of cryptocurrency products, including Bitcoin futures ETFs. See, now the futures ETFs for Bitcoin have been out, and now they're eliminating that, along with the idea of moving into these new spot Bitcoin ETFs. That's how hard Vanguard is going here. And let's take a listen here to Eric Balchunas, who gives his take on why Vanguard is taking this approach. And Bogle, who, first of all, Vanguard and Bogle have differed over the years, but listen to this strategy from Bogle and how he's not a commodities guy, and it's not so much specifically targeted at Bitcoin, says Eric Balchunas. Take a listen.
A book on Bogle and Vanguard over the past 2 years and works with them a lot. This is not a surprise. Now, Vanguard and Bogle have differed over the years. Bogle's DNA is strong at Vanguard, but they've done some things, like they've gone into private equity. Bogle would never do that. But Bogle did not like Bitcoin. His exact quote was, "Avoid Bitcoin like the plague. Did I make myself clear?" And the reasoning is this, and this is something that I think coiners or people in this industry have to really understand, is that stocks and bonds, the money works for you. Like as stocks, everybody gets up creates value, gets passed on to you via cash flow. It's not just the price. And bonds have a coupon that you get. But commodity, like Bitcoin, is only worth what someone else will pay. And Bogle did not like commodities in general. So it's not personal. I even think some of the populist Bitcoin spirit is consistent with Bogle's populism. There are some overlap. Bogle did not like Wall Street fat cats, and it seems like there's a lot of overlap there. But in terms of an investment, he didn't like that it was a commodity. So I'm not surprised Vanguard is doing that for philosophical reasons. The rest of them, these are platforms that, I don't say it's pay to play, but it's almost like shelf space in like a food store. And they kind of be like, well, I'm not putting your salad dressing on the food store, certainly not on day one. And what are you going to give me? And that's how the wirehouses work. So no ETF gets up on there on day one. That's sort of normal.
So there you have that. So, it's quite interesting to hear that take on it and how Eric's trying to tell people, look, don't, from a maxing angle, think this is specifically about Bitcoin, where it's more about commodities in general. So it is something to note, right? It is something to note. And so is this. Jenny Johnson from Franklin Templeton. Listen to what she says here. As Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services and other businesses. I don't think you could say this any more succinctly than Jenny Johnson just said.
Through this. I think Bitcoin is up around 75% year to date, in fact. So how do we explain that and what's happening there?
So I tell people, I think the two biggest disruptors to any industry are going to be AI and blockchain, right? And then I follow it with Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is ultimately coming to financial services and other businesses. And that is not to say that Bitcoin has no value. Actually, it was someone in this region who pointed out to me that, just the fact that the U.S. confiscated assets from Russia would drive people into asset classes like Bitcoin because there would be a view that those assets could be outside of any government confiscating them. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin isn't going to have some value. But to me, what's so interesting about blockchain and what is really unique is if you think about what the blockchain...
Well, listen, what she's saying, what I'm hearing there is that it is the great distraction. And isn't that what we've said? The contrast between introducing a new investment product like spot Bitcoin ETFs on top of this new commodity, this new digital commodity, is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming in financial services. Because the greatest disruption is the use case utility that will actually streamline and change the nature of how these businesses, banks, and financial institutions settle and move value. That's the greatest disruption that's coming. Let's hear this. James Seifert here is asked about an XRP ETF, and I have some thoughts on this.
Some people throwing out wild ideas about, XRP or Solana ETFs. What do you think about that in the context of potentially a new administration in the US in a year's time?
Yeah, so not anytime soon is the short answer, but I'll explain. So ironically, as much as I hate to say this, I'm not a Ripple guy, but that court case could make it so that they theoretically could be next. Basically, the template right now that I have to follow, and everything I know about what the SEC is doing, is you need a futures market that is federally regulated, so regulated by the CFTC, in this case the CME. And the only assets we have trading for and have futures for are Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I think the first thing you need is, one, you need a CME futures market right now. And then you probably need a futures ETF, but maybe not. Maybe the SEC will just accept the futures and allow you to go straight to spot for the next asset. But right now, you probably won't be able to do that as far as I'm concerned. Or you need a literal act of Congress. Like people joke, like, oh, you need an act of Congress done. Like, yeah, you might actually need a little act of Congress on like a market structure bill to figure out how they're going to handle these other assets. And I'm watching the court cases that the SEC is in, involving with you guys at Coinbase and your competitor Kraken and some other things, to see how this is going to shake out on whether these things are going to be considered securities or not. So I guess theoretically, I'm viewing it as Bitcoin here, Ethereum here, and then like everything else, like not even in the screen here, maybe Ripple would be a little bit above everyone else because of the court case, which might set some precedent once it's done. But even still, I don't see the SEC approving this thing for all the reasons I said, and because they are still calling Ripple a security. So yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. So basically, you need a CME futures market. So if we see CME try to file for a Solana's futures or Ripple futures or something like that, then maybe we can start talking about it. But as far as I'm concerned, they are not even in my sight of happening anytime soon.
Totally get it. And I wish for Bloomberg Intelligence and James Seifert to refer to XRP as he knows it to be, XRP and not Ripple, and stop intertwining the two and mixing possibly your own personal opinion of how you feel about Ripple or XRP. But that's just me. But I still appreciate James Seifert's insights. But the reality here is that it's an XRP ETF if it happens at all. Now, speaking of that, let's listen to this right here, where Charles Gasparino asked the CEO of BlackRock, 11 trillion assets under management, the biggest ETF provider on the planet. Let's listen to what he says when he asked about an XRP ETF.
I think the advent of Bitcoin ETFs is an example that we're legitimizing it. We're creating more safety.
Well, let me ask you this. Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't.
How about XRP? Can you answer that? I can't.
And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right.
And there you have it. And why can't he? Is it because they're already planning to file to set up for one? Remember what James Seifert said, you got to have a futures market before you get the spot market too. That's the way it's happened thus far, at least, right? That's been the natural order of progression. So if that's the natural order of progression, then what is he saying? And why can't he answer that? Is it because the case is still ongoing? Is it because that once automated market makers are introduced, it will change the characteristics of XRP? And maybe an ETF isn't the right thing to put on top of the product. You know, it's a very interesting moment we are in. But what's interesting to me is that if it was a no, it would have been simply, are you planning to do an XRP ETF? And Larry Fink would have simply said, no, we're not doing one. But he didn't say that. And he didn't say, yes, we're doing that. He says, I can't talk about it. You know, I can't answer that. That's basically what he said, right? Well, very quickly, let's just, because it's very interesting in response.
The advent of ETF. How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't.
How about XRP?
I can't answer that. Now, like I said, if it's simply a no, why not just say no? But I can't answer that. So there's something behind it, and it ain't a no. And then there's this interesting clip back from the Libra days, going back to 2019. I want you to listen to this clip. Shout out to Amelie for this one, where Larry Fink describes a bridge currency.
If you're going to launder money, it's been cash up to this point. So, I mean, Bitcoin is probably...
Or jewels.
Yeah, okay, but Bitcoin probably, for total money laundering, it's probably 0.0005. So why pick on Bitcoin for the money laundering when it's obviously hasn't been used up to... Al Capone never had any Bitcoin.
So I assume you're also talking about Libra then, too.
No, I don't want to... Libra, I don't even think is a cryptocurrency.
I don't either. That's what I was going to say.
And I don't think it has any inherent value.
Besides, it's a debit.
And I don't want... It's centrally... I mean, and Mark Zuckerberg's involved, and everybody gets to keep the float all...
Let's talk about the concept, though.
Yeah.
Forget about who's created it and what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Listen.
You know, I was in Europe this past week. I had to buy a new briefcase because mine broke actually there.
When I was carrying cash to launder?
All jewels.
Yeah,
no.
all right.
And when I was going to sign the receipt or the electronic thing, they'd asked me, do I want to pay in euro or dollar?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, dollar. Then I looked at it. I'm still being charged at 3%. Terrible. Okay? So, and when you think about all the people who send money, you know, they may work in one country, send money back home. They generally do that through organizations that charge 5 to 10%. Yeah. There is a need, whether it's a Libra or something else,
here we go,
to democratize the exchange of foreign currencies. Today, with computers and electronic market,
there shouldn't be that.
It should be 10 basis points, 5 basis points.
That
it's not
sense.
percent. And so I actually believe the idea around Libra, I don't think we need to create a new currency, but the technology to instantaneous calibrate all the currencies. That should be done.
Who gets squished by that? Who are the middlemen who are making money on that?
The banks.
We're making
The banks. Yes, and that's why the struggle, right? That's where the fight is. Because the friction in this system is where banks are making tons of money. And the ones that are really making the money are the JP Morgans of the world that are the gatekeepers to cross-border payments for 99% of the rest of the banks. And then there was this guy just, 2 days ago on Fox Business describing where the real moment coming is when you can get past the Bitcoin ETFs and get to a bridge asset, is what he's describing. And tell me he doesn't sound just like Jenny Johnson from Franklin Templeton describing the big disruption.
No, I would agree, because we haven't yet made the jump where there is institutional buy-in. And I like to use the example, if the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo needs to transfer $100 million worth of yen to the New York branch and convert it to dollars, you need $100 million worth of yen in Tokyo and $100 million worth of dollars in New York. You're tying up $200 million in capital. If you can attach that to a coin, it's simultaneously, so the bank frees up half the capital. That's a big deal. But we haven't made that jump yet.
Yeah, but it looks like it's coming, doesn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there you have it. And it is coming, because the more you introduce these tokenized products, these tokenized instruments, you're going to need bridge assets, stable coins, CBDCs to help convert and settle and move this value. This is where we're going, and we're getting closer and closer to watching that Cambrian explosion as the world moves to a new financial system. And let's take a look at this from Egg Rag Crypto, ladies and gentlemen. It is XRP $1.20 minimum move. Surprising my DMs is full of people panicking. For me, still confident in the move to $1.20. I'm not waiting around or taking unnecessary leverage risks. My approach is to buy, hold, and wait. Most of the trading is about being patient and just sitting on your ass. As Raul says, don't F this up. Damn right. Shout out to Raul, man. The yellow channel is still holding. XRP like a boss and keeping price on an upward trend with higher highs and higher lows. And with that, here is the chart that we're looking at and where we're sitting. It's not that far of a leap, ladies and gentlemen. Could we be there within a month or so? Wouldn't that be amazing? It really would. And I hope that we all get to see that. And I hope that we get to see so much more, because I really do believe all the things that I've talked about for so many years, that this is just the beginning. We are on the precipice of watching the real price driver to this market begin to step into play. And I hope it starts in 2024. And that, for me, is use case utility. Speculation be damned, right? We're all in here, right? Let's get this party started with some utility. All right, and I hope you'll carry on and join me here. digperspectives.com, ladies and gentlemen. Click the Freedom Zone and join for next to nothing. Listen, there's a lot of things that cost $6, but this you get every day. My daily YouTube videos, no Google ads. Then you get the extra content that we put in here as well, and it's stuff that I wouldn't dare touch on the channel, and we're touching it all. So make sure you join us in the Freedom Zone, where there is no censorship. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.